All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over these three problems. As you read, the instructions said, name the greater number and name the greatest place value where the digits differ. And we have these three problems. So we have to do two things. We have to write down the biggest of the two numbers, and we have to say which place value, what's the first place value, the biggest place value, where they differ. So your paper should have two, count them, two answers. So let's take the first one here. We have, and we're going to line them up. We have 3 and 579 thousandths, 3 and 564 thousandths. What is the biggest place value, Polari?
3,000.
What place value is this?
1,000.
No. Here's the decimal point. What's right in front of the decimal point? Ones. Good. And the smallest place value? The thousandths. Good.
Okay.
Good. So we have the ones all the way out to the thousandths. Polari, do the ones place, is there any difference between these two numbers?
No.
The tenths place, any difference between these two numbers?
No.
The hundredths place, any difference between these two numbers?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the first answer that we have, the first place value, the largest place value they differ, is in the hundredths. And see, this helps us practice our place values too. And then it says, name the biggest number. So we look in the hundredths place where Polari's told me they're different. Polari, which is bigger, a 7 or a 6?
7.
7. So this number is the biggest. So on your paper you have two lines. One of the lines should say the hundredths and the other line should say 3 and 579 thousandths. Because it said write down the biggest number and write down the first place value that it's different. Boom, shakalaka, peace out. Very good. I'm not turning off the video. That'd be crazy talk. Next we have 9 and 572 thousandths and 9 and 637 thousandths. Okay, the first thing I should do, Miss Ava, what should I do? I'm comparing these two numbers. What should be the first thing I do?
Line up the decimal.
Good. I write them down, lining up each place value. 9.572, 9.637. Seems so easy when you do it here with me, doesn't it?
Yes.
So much easier, and you're like, what? I got this. But if it's easy now, it should be easy when you do it as well. And if it's not, we're going to keep practicing it. I am not going to let any of you not be successful. I used two negatives in the sentence, but that's okay. You're all going to be successful because you're here, which means you care. And I'm here, which means I care. And I'm the baddest, taking out all rookies. Forget Oreos, eat Cool J cookies. I'm bad.
What?
All right. What is the biggest place value in these two numbers? The ones place. Good. Ones place is the biggest. Smallest place value, Courtney, is?
The
Thousandths. Good. Okay. Ones, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. One's the biggest. The thousandth is the smallest. Now, Courtney, is there any difference in the ones place? No. Tenths place?
Yeah.
Yes. So the tenths place is the first place where there's a difference. It's the biggest place value where there's a difference. I mean, there's also a difference in the hundredths and the thousandths, but the tenths place is the bigger of those three. It's the biggest of those three. So the biggest place there's a difference is in the tenths place. Now it says to write down our biggest number. So as Miss Courtney told us, the ones place, they're the same. The tenths place is where they differ. So Courtney, 6 or 5 is the biggest? 6. So our biggest one is 9 and 637 thousandths. We take our time. We breathe slowly. We think. This is easy peasy raw chicken squeezy. And let's look at the last of those three, which is...
I was late because I couldn't find which door to come in through.
4 and 159 thousandths, and 4 and 152 thousandths. Okay. Hey, let me ask you real quick before we do this one. If you're in a race, do you want the biggest time or the smallest time? Smallest, okay. Because that was one of the questions that was today. If you're in a race, the winner has the smallest time. Okay? The loser has the biggest time. Emily Kate, I'm not a loser. Stop saying that.
What happened to Zoe now?
Emily Kate tells me first thing we do is write down these numbers, lining up each place value. Ones over the ones, tenths over the tenths, hundredths over the hundredths, thousandths over the thousandths. Oh, Madison, where's the first place they differ? Ones are the same. Tenths, are they different? Hundredths, are they different? Thousandths, are they different? So that's the place value where they first differ. So thousandths. Thousandths is the first place they differ. And since we're looking at the thousandths, Madison, 9 or 2, which is bigger? 9. So that tells me 4 and 159 thousandths is my greater of the two numbers. Again, if you write them down, lining up each place value, if it's a word problem, read it, just read it like this to yourself. But just so you can hear it and say it. Because then you're doing 3 of your senses. You're seeing, you're hearing, and you're saying it, which is going to increase the likelihood of you understanding it to a higher level. Boom, shakalaka, peace out, God bless, love you, do something kind today. Stay tuned because we're moving on to rounding.